for the television title. This was the main event. Matt Hardy versus Darby Allin. Not only no DQ, but falls count anywhere. Lazy booking. Up a lazy booker where the lazy bookers go. The lazy booker that I know so well. So it's no DQ and falls count anywhere. So Matt Hardy picks up a chair, comes in the ring with it in front of the referee, God and everybody, and just starts with the fucking chair. He swings and misses, and then he hits him with it, and he hits him 4 or 5 times with a chair, but never tries for a cover. So I knew that they couldn't go in one entire television show without a garbage match. There's been no kendo sticks, garbage cans, tables, ladders, blah, blah, blah. They couldn't make it through 2 hours. Once upon a time, Matt Hardy could have had a really good match with a guy like Darby Allin. Hand to hand in the ring. They could have had the people on the edge of their seats. They could have had a fucking barn burner of a match, depending on which one was supposed to go over. It could have gone either way. Guys could have come out looking good. Now, Matt, is it to hide physical limitations? He's got to do the indie garbage shit, or is it just that that's what he feels like they want here, and so there's no effort at trying to have a match with a guy? Now that he's a heel, that's all the more important why he could have a match with Darby Allin and teach Darby something. But instead, they just whack each other with goddamn constant use of the chair in front of the referee. I know it's no DQ, lazy booking. When you're doing it in front of the referee and he's just standing there accepting it, it's visually idiotic. And they're really hitting each other, but it means nothing. So that's what I don't know. Is it Matt's covering up his limitations? I can understand him trying to get by if that's the case, but it seems like this kind of match would be harder if you had physical limitations instead of a regular actual wrestling match. Then the Butcher comes out and hits Darby Allin with a trash can in front of the referee, and then the Private Party gets on him. And then here comes the Dork Order, and they have 18 people fighting all around the ring, and here comes Sting. No snow. Well, the spring is here. Sting comes out with a bat, but I saw him carrying the bat out, but seconds later, he's double clotheslining Private Party over the top rope. But they went to the break. This is not the end of the match. They went to a break in the match. The match is still going, but there's 18 people fighting at ringside, and the guys that are having the match are on the floor, and people not involved in the match are doing spots in the ring. And this is just the break point. So apparently they all fought through the break while Matt and Darby Allin were doing the fucking garbage indie spots on the outside of the ring, and then they come back. And Hardy is covering Darby Allin on the floor somewhere in the arena. And the referee is counting a pin on the floor because it's falls count anywhere. While Sting is in the ring still beating the heels up. And then as the Dork Order and the fucking Hardy House heels have disappeared somewhere, there becomes Lance Archer, Scorpio Sky, and Ethan Page, that little fucking squirrel-faced prick, arguing with each other on the ramp and talking to Sting, and Sting and Archer are facing off. They're not in this match. The match is out on the floor somewhere, but this is hurting my fucking head. And then when Sting and Archer had their face-off, actually, that's sad. They didn't hurt themselves. They had their face off, meaning a stare down, not they ripped their own faces off. But on this program, anything's possible. Sting and Archer have a face off with each other, and Archer tells Sting, "Well, I'll show you," and he goes and gives his finish to fucking one of the Private Party guys, Cassidy, that's laying over on the side. So Archer hits his finish on Cassidy, to piss Sting off in some fashion. This is the biggest clusterfuck that I have ever seen in the history of English-speaking clusterfucks. And then Sting just walked off, and everybody else had left, and Hardy gave Allin a nut shot and gave him a twist of fate on the stage with a chair wrapped around his neck and covered him for a 2 count. And at that point, I looked at the clock, and I had 5 minutes of this horse shit left, and I said, I can't take any more. And I just turned it off there. What the fuck else happened?
Darby Allin won the match.
It took 5 minutes for him to come back from having a twist of fate given to him on a stage while a chair was around his neck to come back and win that match.
Eventually, he got a hold of Sting's bat.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
Did some batting practice. Why did they have a no DQ Falls Count Anywhere match? The Matt Hardy Darby Allin feud.
So they could do all of that shit they did in it.
But did anything lead up to that, is what I'm saying, and I just can't remember.
No. They make up rules for matches specifically on an idea that the amateur booker has for what he wants to do in the match. It's not supposed to make sense, but they just make the rules so they can do that. When's the last time you watched a match where everybody in the ring doing spots and taking bumps was not involved in the match, and the match was taking place out on the floor at the same time? So, another thing about modern wrestling that I can't stand is the fucking amateurs that feel like, if you're a billionaire and you want to buy a hospital, fine. But don't ask to go in and start doing the heart surgeries. Find somebody that knows how to get in and out of the fucking heart. But no DQ, Falls Count Anywhere, and people were on me because of that 3-way when I said the 3-way at WrestleMania. God damn it, it's no DQ too. Everybody, well, don't you know? 3-ways are always no disqualification. It's because all the bookers are fucking lazy. If all the bookers weren't lazy, you wouldn't be seeing that many 3-ways, and they sure as hell wouldn't be no disqualification. But I just can't. They're all the same. All of this shit is the same. No rules. No parameters. They do anything they want. It doesn't have to make sense. Garbage, indie, outlaw matches with guys doing stunts with furniture. I don't mind if people have a saloon fight where the furniture gets knocked over in the process of the fight. I oppose the idea of having a saloon fight when Marshall Dillon and the bad guy stop to place the furniture in the right place to fall through it when they have their fight. As just to use hyperbolic language in the interest only of comedic exaggeration and certainly not meant as a threat or legitimate wish to be taken seriously by either YouTube personnel or any government agency, I wish that every one of these no disqualification nitwits would get hit on the head or run over by a tractor-trailer truck, possibly in front of their entire families, so hard that their brain matter and pieces of intestine would splatter all over their favorite aunts that have heart conditions. But that's merely exaggeration.
Oh, yeah.
But God, Jesus Christ. That's why there are no grudge matches, because every match is out of control from the start. So when people actually do have a fight, what are they supposed to do? Just pull out fucking bear mace and start spraying each other in the face at the bell? What'd you think of this thing at the end?
I don't know what else to say. I was stoned, but I wasn't really into it.
2 hours into the show? Boy, that must have been good shit.
I may have, taken a break during one of the matches to re-up. But, it just, again, I couldn't figure out what the big Darby Allin, Matt Hardy feud was that led to a Falls Count Anywhere match. And I just knew it would be just a chaos of run-ins at the end, and it's exactly what it was, and I knew Sting would walk out there, and it's exactly what he did. It wasn't even
run-ins at the end, it was run-ins in the middle.
In the middle, that's true.
And then they all leave, and then they're still having a match. That's like, goddamn, why are you still fucking after everybody's left the orgy?
And at this point, it's one thing when you're introducing him for a promo, but for Tony Schiavone to have to scream, "It's Sting!" whenever he arrives is gotten ridiculous.
Well, now it's a rib that everybody tells Tony, "Oh, we love the way you do that." So he's fucking with people. Every time he sees Sting, he feels like he's got, "It's Sting!" All right.
Well, that was AEW.
That was AEW.